All right, so starting this off, you've been here for 5 weeks. What are you enjoying most about the job so far?
You know, everything. It is a ton of work, but it's exhilarating. You know, you wake up every morning and you have the opportunity to make change and do good things for the people of Calgary. So I'm really excited. My energy level is high, and I think even in this short period of time, we're starting to do some good work.
Fantastic. So in conjunction to that, what are some of the challenges that you've experienced so far?
Well, you know, they're fewer than I thought they would be. Before I started this job, you know, a lot of folks said administration is not interested in change or city council is completely dysfunctional. I might have even been one of those people. But what I've actually found is that everyone is ready, willing, excited to make change. So a lot of the things that I thought would be challenging have turned out not to be so. You know, there's always a bunch of tactical things, you know, getting a terrific staff together, figuring out how to manage the 150 event invitations I get every day. Little things, but those are really manageable, and on the whole, I think so far so good, knock on wood.
Yeah. No, I think you're pretty popular with a lot of Calgarians already, even during the election you were, and you did recognize that not everyone voted for you. But
what? Not everyone voted for me?
No, but
shocking.
You won, that was important, right? What would you say for those Calgarians who didn't vote for you? What would you say for them to support and get their engagement?
Well, you know, I'm just focused on the needs of all Calgarians right now. I'm not one of those who's focused on the next election or how I can increase my voter percentage. You know, I'm focused on the needs of all Calgarians. And, you know, one of the ironic things is that sometimes I get a phrase. Recently I got someone on the internet saying, oh, he only cares about the voters in East Calgary. Actually, it turns out the people in East Calgary didn't vote for me as much as the other people, but I'm still trying to get the airport underpass built. I'm still trying to work on infrastructure for that part of the city as much as I work on infrastructure for the whole city. So I'm just going to keep on keeping on and try to do a good job, and I hope that people appreciate what we're trying to do for them.
Absolutely, that's fantastic. And yeah, as you mentioned, like the East Calgary, you may not have got as many votes there, but that's primarily where a lot of the Filipino communities are. So what we're hoping to do is actually engage them and get them interested. And in your inauguration speech, you mentioned about keeping the energy up. And what would you suggest for the Filipino community?
Well, this is really the number one thing that I'm focused on right at the moment, even more so than the budget. You know, what we saw in the election was just an enormous outpouring of support. And boy, do I ever know that the Filipino community was so supportive of me. You know, every single time I meet someone from the community, I hear about how they drag their uncles and aunts and cousins and everyone else to vote. In fact, I was recently in Edmonton, and a couple of members of the Edmonton Filipino community came up to me and said, our relatives in Calgary are so excited about you. So I know I've had a lot of support there. And I know that a lot of, especially young people, have gotten really excited about politics, and they've never been excited about politics before. So one of my challenges is how do we keep people engaged? And we've been trying to use online methods. You know, we've had record views on Twitter and Facebook and email and blogs of people trying to communicate, but it has to go far beyond that. And so one of the things I'm working on is really ways to keep people engaged in the community. And we've got a bunch of ideas. One of them that I hope to be doing early in the new year is what I'm calling the Mayor's Civic Engagement Fair. And what we'll do is we'll invite political organizations, community associations, other community organizations, all to City Hall for like a career fair, but a fair on civic engagement where we would invite the public to come in and figure out areas where they can volunteer or get involved. And the other idea is that we'll commensurately do that also online. So people don't have to come down to City Hall, but they can go to a central place online, look at all of these other organizations, and sign up to volunteer.
Fantastic. Last question would be, what, I guess, would Calgarians, Filipinos in particular, maybe even new Calgarians, what can they expect from you as mayor?
Well, you know, as I said, we're focused on really nothing less than transforming how municipal government works in the city. Delivering services more effectively and more intelligently, while maintaining a very keen eye on costs. Sounds like we're trying to do everything, but there's a bunch of things we can do. So I'll give you one very simple example. We have a program called the Low Income Transit Pass for people who have low income. But in order to get the transit pass, you have to submit your previous year's notice of assessment from Revenue Canada. If you're a new Canadian, if you've just arrived on a working visa or you've just arrived as an immigrant, where are you going to get a notice of assessment from last year? You didn't file taxes last year. So we've inadvertently shut out a whole bunch of low-income people who have just arrived in Canada from accessing this service. It's an easy one to change, right? If we have someone from a community organization vouching for you that you're a new Canadian and you're low income, we should just let you get the low income transit pass. So simple things like that. And in fact, what we're aiming to do is have one income test for all city services, so that if you qualify for the low income transit pass, you automatically qualify for subsidies on recreation programs for your kids and so on, and vice versa. And we're going to work on these things to ensure that we are equally serving all citizens, and I think that's something that will particularly help immigrant communities.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for your time. I know you're busy. Good things are happening. I think we're quite pleased with what we're seeing in City Hall.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone in the Filipino community.